Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be looking at, ignore that, how to make a deck. Also ignore all that. I don't know what the fuck this was. I haven't been on here in a while. But basically, we're just going to be going over making a deck based on an archetype you like. So starting off, let's pick a random archetype. Let's go with, or just a random card you like. Like, let's start off with, I don't know, let's go with Dark Worlds. Yeah, you know, you like Dark World, you like discarding, you like Dark Worlds, you all that. Now, starting off, we're going to be looking at what type of deck you want to play. Are you playing this for a role play? Are you playing this for just casually having fun with the friends? Are you playing this to be meta? Are you playing this to be like semi-meta? You know, just what level of play are you competing at? Or do you not competing at? What level of play do you want to play at? It's like, if you're, so Dark Worlds play very differently based on how you play them. So Dark Worlds roleplay, you would put like things like 3 Brawn Mad King of the Dark World. You put like 2 or 3 Dark World Grimoire. Not happening here. In competitive, you'd never run Baron, you'd never run Rain Box, you never run something like Tactician, you'd never run thing like Zur, even though he's really good for certain things. But yeah, basically depending on what competitive play you're running at. I am going to just kind of put some cards in the deck and then we'll go from there. Alright, so here's the deck. The skill I was going for was not really meta, but more like just have fun with people kind of thing. Starting off, 3, just like basically, I'm not going to go over the deck in detail, like, if you know, you know, but like basically you want to go through, and what you want to do is you want to go here, and you want to search basically based on what archetype you have first of all, so like, because you want to search cards with Dark World in their name, and then like cards with Dark World in their effect. It's like here. So there's Dark World in its effect. Like this one, the Forces of Darkness, I'm not using it because it's not really, but basically turn. And you also want to search up cards that, because usually even if they don't have it in the effect, they'll have it in the name. That means they work with it. Like each player draws a card and discards one card. This can be used in many decks, Dark World dealings, but in this deck it's called Dark World because it synergizes well with the deck. So like you also want to go through and look at which cards are best for your skill level you're playing. So like starting off with Dark Worlds is things like Brow, which you discard it and then you draw a card. Beige, discard it, you special summon it. Grapha, which you discard it, does all sorts of fucking things. And you then want to, for your archetype, you then want to find cards that synergize with that are not part of the archetype. Like Fiendish Rhino Warrior. With, because basically all other Fiend monsters can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. Every Dark World monster is a Fiend type. And also, you can send a Fiend monster from the deck to the graveyard if it's sent to the graveyard. So like, Foolish Burial off Fiendish Rhino Warrior and stuff like that. Torgot from the Underworld is also good because it allows you to bring out like something like Brow or Fiendish Rhino Warrior once again, which is why you would run him in this deck to go into extra deck plays. So you want to have multiple ways to go into your plays. Another thing is like other cards like spells and traps. Dark Smog, Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, Foolish Burial, Allure of Darkness aren't necessarily Dark World cards, but they just synergize so well with it. Like, draw 2 cards and banish a dark monster from your hand. All your monsters are dark. You're not going to be drawing monsters not dark, so you'll be able to get that off very often. Foolish Burial, set a card to the graveyard again. Fiendish Rhino Warrior, something like that. Or perhaps, you just want to put Dark Monster in the grave for like something like Gateway to Dark World, which will revive it, or Monster Reborn. Raigeki, because it destroys all your opponent's monsters. Let's get Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, because it's way too easy. It's pretty decently easy to get this off in this deck, because you're bringing out Grapha. Extra deck monsters. First of all, as far as extra deck, once again, you want to choose card. There's no real extra deck. Like, if you can't find an extra deck card for your archetype, that's fine. Just find cards that support with. So start off, in this deck, you're summoning this card a lot, which is Grapher, which is a level 8. So you probably can get more than one of it on the field, meaning you want to run a lot of level 8s. Or stuff that synergizes with level 8. So like, things like Dingirsu, and Heretic Sun Dragon Overlord of Helopolis, don't know why I said the full name. And like Harbinger of Hope, Draglubian, stuff like Snathon, the Sky Prison, and all that. And you also want to run things for other levels. So like, because of Torgod from the Other World, we're bringing out level 3s a lot. So what we can do is go into things like the rank 3s. So then you go to look at rank 3s. See, Levinar the Sea Dragon, Shadow Lich. This is just for Xyz monsters. Like, you also got to do things like if you're running a Synchro deck, then you need to look at what levels of tuners you have. So let's say I have a level 2 tuner. Let's say my tuners are like level 2 to 3, and then my monster's level 3 to 4. So you're going to want like level 6 Synchro, level 7 Synchro, level 5 Synchro, level 6, I already said 6, level 7, 5, and 6, 5, 6, and 7 Synchros, because you can go into those often enough. Now, also, as far as Link monsters, if your deck is more Link focused, then you want to focus on, like, how many monsters can you get on the field to bring out a card of that Link rating, basically. But if you're not running Link monsters, then actually I would suggest you run these 3 here, the Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Phoenix, and Nightmare Unicorn. Because you have enough materials to bring them out, they can actually be pretty good to just stay there, install, because Nightmare Cerberus can destroy a monster, Nightmare Phoenix can destroy a spell or trap, and then Nightmare Unicorn can just shuffle a card into the deck, which is, if you don't know, really fucking good. So just run them. You're not going to get them off often at all, but just run them because they're good, basically. If you're not, I mean, if you're running off like you're just running off like roleplay or something like that, you don't care about being good, that's fine. But if you are running off like I'm trying to put in good skill to this or meta or whatever, then you want to run these. Another thing is synergy with your extra deck. So we have things like Hard Earth Dragon, Sky Thunder, which see, oh, that's way too high a rank. How are you gonna get that out? Well, with their effect, Sky Thunder, of course, he's a staple, actually. Well, I probably should have told you about him earlier, but I'm a fucking idiot, so I didn't. But basically, Sky Thunder, when a Xyz monster battles, you can just stack him on top of that Xyz monster, and then he can, quick effect, detach the material, send all their cards on the field to the graveyard. Which, if you have a cleared field besides this guy, or like the only cards you have on the field like to be in the graveyard, then he's beautiful. Like, absolutely beautiful. But another thing is, like, on top of, you summon out Draglubian, which has the effect that it can bring out a dragon number monster. So basically you need a dragon monster with number in its name that's an Xyz, and you can synergize. You can bring out Draglubian and bring out something like, which we have here is Heart Earth, or number 100 Numeron Dragon. You get the idea. Basically just, you want to look at your cards and see which cards help them. So like, once again, Dark Lords, okay. Starting off, let's look at their attribute. They're dark. What card works really well with dark attribute monsters? Well, we have Allure of Darkness. That's good. Good start. We have Eradicator Epidemic Virus. That's another good one. Next up, okay, those are pretty good. Now let's look at, alright, what's its type? Fiend. What works good with Fiends? You have Charge It to a Dark World, which discards a Fiend as well, which is great. You have, something like, okay, what's another good one? Dark Smog, which requires you to use Fiend, requires you to discard a Fiend, which is also great. Next up, you want to look at their effects. So, they all have the effect of when they're discarded, something happens. So, get cards that discard. Dark World Dealings, yup. Cards sent to the graveyard work as well because of things like Gateway to the Dark World, which you put in because it's Dark World in its name. So look at that Foolish Burial, plus you're sending Dark Worlds to the grave all the time, so Gateway to the Dark World is nice. Monster Reborn, because you're sending cards to the grave with their effects. And then, yeah, you get the idea. And then you also want things that You also want monsters that synergize with this, so like Fiendish, Rhino Warrior if it's in the graveyard, blah blah blah. Target from the underworld, bring out a level 3, that's a Fiend. These are all Fiends, you get the idea. And then you go to the extra deck and you do the same thing. You look at what synergizes with the monsters you're bringing out. You get the idea. This is just one example of what you can do, and I don't think I explained it well enough, but I do hope you get the idea. Synergy, synergy, synergy. Now, let me explain to you a deck that, what you should not do while building a deck. So creative, I know. So, let's look at this. So let's start off with, okay, so you're just gonna play, like, oh, you never played, instead of looking at what archetype you want to use, which you should be doing, instead you go over here like, oh, I'm just gonna run something like, I'm just gonna run just like whatever sounds cool. Monster, yep, and well, Beast Warriors sound good, let's run them. And then you just randomly pick Beast Warriors. It's like, you don't, I'm not saying you have to run an archetype at all, that's not what I'm saying, but I am saying you just randomly throw in 3 Abera Ushoni, once per turn call a coin, and then you randomly put in Ags the Pummeler, which is good, but the point I'm making here is that you're just gonna randomly put in monsters that look, oh, this looks good, when Abera Ushoni is terrible. You didn't look at its effect and you're not building a deck around it, you're just using it because, oh, I could possibly deal 1,000, that's cool. Let's put these Beast King Barbados in because they look fun. Like, it's not gonna have synergy. It's not gonna work together. Beast King Barbados would requires a machine type and Beast Warrior type, first of all, and you get the idea. Basically, if you don't work on your synergy, then your deck's not gonna be good. Now, this is not necessarily for new people getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! It's more for just people who want to build their deck. Like, maybe intermediate people who aren't really good at deck building yet. That's what you need to focus on, looking at what cards work with your cards. And if you have to search up a deck build, it's perfectly fine. You know what? At the end of the day, as long as you don't just take credit for it and use it like it's yours, then, you know, at the end of the day, just use other resources you have. Like, I guarantee you this looks like a lot of Dark World decks. Like, look at Silva, Tour Guide, 3 Brow, 3 Base. Just like, this deck is not very unique in any way. It's just like every Dark World deck ever. You don't need to make your deck like this completely unique thing. You can go to a deck build and sort of copy it down. Especially if you want to run meta, people will do that anyway. Because it's just like, spending all that time to build it when instead you could look at someone else, is thing. Which is perfectly fine. I mean, come on, meta decks get copied all the time. If it's the best strategy, why not use it? That's the whole point. But you get the idea. Basically, for deck building, just build based, just go, what I'd say is go off an archetype you like to play, find an archetype you like to play, and then build a deck off that archetype, and try and find its synergy. What works really well with it, what you do with it, you know. And don't just use the best cards recommended. Like, I know I just said use deck build, but go off that and then look for cards. Because, like, people will say something like, Defense Draw. Oh, I spelled that wrong, did I? Yeah, because I put an effect. Oops. The people will say, Defense Draw is good. There's no better options. But that only blocks one attack. You would then have something like, I'm pretty sure it was called, like, yeah, Countergate, which negates a direct attack, negate the attack, and draw one card. And if it's a monster, just summon it to the field. Which negates one attack and could negate another attack. Because it's normal summons instead of special summoning. So this could actually help you in some circumstances. Granted, neither of these cards are that good, but you get the idea. Don't just run what people say is good, you could find other options, because no one talks about Countergate, yet it is strictly a better defense draw. Because defense draw, it blocks one attack and draws a card. Countergate blocks one attack and can possibly block another attack. You get the idea. I don't know why I'm going back to that. But you get the idea. Just, that's all I have to say. I do hope you enjoy, and I will see you all another time.